Mega 9 on your side, live at 10, starts right now.
A fourth day of teacher walkouts tomorrow. What Governor Doug Ducey says is happening with the budget that may change the future of the walkout.
And tonight we're learning why Tucson teachers say the governor's idea of an average teacher salary is wrong.
But first, funeral services are set for the Nogales police officer shot and killed on Friday. Today,
Jesus Cordova's body was moved from the medical examiner's office here in Tucson to a funeral home in Nogales. Good evening. Thank you for joining us. I'm Pat Paris.
And I'm Stella Inger. Motorcycle officers led the motorcade from Tucson to Martinez Funeral Home in Nogales, followed by other law enforcement and eventually a white hearse carrying Officer Cordova's body.
Nogales Police Chief Roy Bermudez says he is living through one of the most difficult times of his life.
It's hard. I just need to give them their space. One of the things that I need to make sure is that our officers are well. Because that's my first and foremost. They're my biggest asset.
Services are now set for Officer Cordova. A public viewing is Friday from 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. at Nogales High School.
A funeral mass is the next morning, Saturday, May 5th at 10 o'clock, also being held at Nogales High School. Many TUSD teachers are up in arms tonight about a recent tweet by the governor that showed the average teacher pay in the district is $50,000.
Yeah, teachers tell us there is no way that's accurate and contacted us to find out. Now Your Side investigative reporter Valerie Cavazos reveals the real story behind the disputed amount.
New teachers standing side by side with veterans, all hoping for a bigger paycheck because they feel they've been underpaid far too long. Jalen Wheatley has a master's degree, her second year in the profession. She teaches at Pueblo High School. Her salary ranges in the upper 30s.
The moment I saw Doug Ducey's tweet that the average salary currently in Tucson Unified School District was $50,000, I automatically knew that was wrong.
Here's the tweet showing the current average at $50,000, boosted to about $60,000 by the year 2020 under the governor's new plan.
The next day, talking to my colleagues, they said, no way. There's got to be some other story behind this.
And there is, found in the contracts, a payout agreement of Prop 301 funds, the pay for performance bonus for qualified teachers, funds the district held back for a handful of years, totaling about $20 million.
And then last year, many teachers in TUSD, went on a full-blown campaign to get that money back to where it belongs.
The Auditor General's office confirmed the Prop 301 payout. Take a look at the 2017 yearly report. It shows the average Prop 301 amount nearly doubles to $7,800 from around $4,000 the previous few years. A 26-year-old teacher's contract shows she received $3,600.
So that's why the number of, this over $7,000 number from Proposition 301 last year, that's why it was so high, is because that was a one-time payout that we've never seen before and we're never going to see again.
But it may happen again next school year. We discovered the district doled out only half of the $20 million as seen in this 2017 annual financial report. $10 million remains. Is that going to the teachers? It appears so. Take a look at the teacher's contract for 2018. It contains the exact same Prop 301 agreement and payout, $3,600. Once the millions are gone, Wheatley says teachers will never see the average $60,000 in a couple of years stipulated in the governor's plan because it was based on the inflated dollar amount. A reason she came forward to set the record straight.
Because I don't want the public to think that, oh, well, they're making an average of $50,000. They're already rich. What are they even complaining about?
We reached out to Superintendent Gabriel Trujillo about the Prop 301 payout. We have yet to receive a response. We reached out to the governor about the inflated average teacher salary in TUSD. A spokesperson told us the governor stands behind the figure, which came from the Auditor General's office. We'll continue to stay on this. Valerie Cavazos, KGUN 9 on your side.
All right, Valerie, thank you very much. It's the third day of the statewide teacher walkout, a huge showing of Red for Ed supports at the Capitol again today. 9
Your Science Priscilla Casper shares how the walkout is affecting school districts and what's next for the Red for Ed movement.
After Governor Doug Ducey posted on Friday he has a deal, that didn't stop teachers and Red for Ed supporters from rallying at the state capitol in Phoenix for the third day.
It is up to us to fight for our kids and to fight for our state.
Many school districts in southern Arizona deciding to close its schools again tomorrow.
We've got almost 1,300 teachers that have called out for tomorrow.
Tucson Unified School District Superintendent Dr. Gabriel Trujillo had a short-term plan for TUSD schools to be shut down for 3 days.
Tomorrow marks the first day that we have our first school that's actually ran out of instructional time in Warren Elementary School.
However, he's now working on a long-term plan. The governing board will meet tomorrow night to discuss putting the district on a non-paid closure, possibly changing graduation dates, and we'll have a better idea of whether additional instruction days are needed.
If we move into a long-term shutdown of the district, a non-paid furlough situation, we're going to have several hundreds and thousands of employees affected by those 3 or 4 days deducted from their paycheck.
Despite TUSD schools being closed, he says cafeterias will still serve food.
A deal, he's got a deal. That was his phrasing, right? There's a deal. On Friday, he's got a deal. I said, with whom?
The Tucson Education Association president says they plan to be back at the state capitol again tomorrow and Wednesday.
Going up because we're saying, show us the details. Where is the money coming from? Is it sustainable? And if he's got this great plan, then let's just show it to us. Bring it to the floor and let's be part of this discussion.
Now, multiple school districts confirmed they will be closed tomorrow. Sunnyside Unified School District schools will be closed the rest of the week. All Vail and Santa Cruz Valley districts will be back open tomorrow. And for that full list, head to KGUN9.com. Pat, Stella.
All right, Priscilla. Thank you. Yes, thank you. Aaron Christensen here now. We've talked about this roller coaster ride. We're definitely on the steep downward trend here now, right?
Yeah, we have one more day in the 80s and then a big cool down. It's going to feel as though someone just flipped a switch and those seasons change just about overnight. We'll be in the 70s, low 70s, in fact, by Wednesday, 79 Thursday, and then jumping right into the mid-90s by Saturday and 98 degrees, maybe even 100 by Sunday. We do still have some fire weather concerns that come with the front bringing us this cool down. That's in your full forecast.
And up next, a caravan of migrants at the border. What is next for these people seeking asylum?
Plus, how Tucson police say they caught the man trying to lure a 9-year-old girl out of her bedroom yesterday morning. You're watching KGUN 9 on your side. There's such a jump in the need to help homeless youth in Tucson that the organization Youth on Their Own is closing its thrift shop to reuse the space.
The store will close May 12th so the organization can use the space for the young people it serves.
We need to have more space for students and for the program folks that are helping those students out. So we're trying to reduce the numbers. Right now one program coordinator will serve 500 students, and that's not a good way to really provide that guidance.
Youth on Their Own helps homeless teens with food and programs that help make it through school. The program helps about 1,700 young people now. That's up about 350% in the last 8 years.
Let's check in with Aaron Christensen. We're talking not only wind, but it's so dry out. Very concerned about the fire danger.
And not just today, but through the day tomorrow and again on Wednesday. We do have a cold front that will plague us with this wind and fire weather concerns for some time, but it's also going to bring us significantly cooler air. That's coming up in your full forecast.
Law enforcement still looking for a suspect who tried to carjack a woman and ended up kidnapping her. Hours later, the driver of the car was found safe.
Now police are still looking for her car and the person who stole it. If you see a gray Mazda 3 with Arizona license plate CFV 2974, you're asked to call 911 immediately. Police say suspect should be considered armed and dangerous. A man is in jail less than 24 hours after police say he tried to kidnap a 9-year-old girl. 29-year-old Alonzo Rodriguez now in custody.
Yeah, police say Sunday morning Rodriguez climbed into the girl's bedroom window while she was sleeping and tried to entice her to leave. He ran away after he was spooked by someone at the home.
We got a fingerprint hit off the window that the individual had touched. And this was about 3:50 p.m. and we got a return on that, which identified a suspect of interest that we thought could have been responsible due to the description that was originally given. We also had DNA analysis from some stuff that he had left on scene there. Our crime lab personnel came out. They started processing that immediately with a record amount of time turnaround. They were able to come back with the same name that we got from the fingerprint.
Captain James Scott says the DNA was able to be processed quickly because of new equipment received from the National Criminal Justice Department.
So-called caravan of migrants, mostly from Central America, has arrived at the border, and now many of them have started to turn themselves into border officials. That's the first step to gaining asylum in the U.S. Many travel more than 3,000 miles to the port near San Diego. Those migrants started turning themselves over to CBP earlier this evening.
If the interview goes well, then they can follow through with that case either through immigration court or through the asylum office, depending on the case. Or if it's denied, then they can request a review of that hearing with the immigration court directly.
While international law requires asylum cases to be heard, getting the request granted is rare. Records show most asylum seekers between 2011 and 2016 lost their cases.
Now, KGUN 9 on your side. First warning weather. Brought to you by Casino del Sol, the soul of Tucson.
Starting you off with a few photos of the bug fire. This is the one burning on Mount Lemmon. This photo taken by Pete Williams. Now, this is the fire we told you about earlier in the evening. It's burning on the east side of Catalina Highway, milepost 7. Now, at least 25 acres have burned. No word on the cause just yet. Of course, they have lots of folks there trying to fight that fire. Here's another view, sort of a vantage point. Can't really see the flames because it is sort of burning in a canyon there, low-lying area, but you certainly can see that smoke, and you can probably smell it in and around Tucson as well. Sally Reichert grabbed this photo earlier today. So we are certainly not in the clear as far as fire weather concerns over the next couple of days. We had a red flag warning expire at 7 o'clock this evening, but we've got another one that already picks up tomorrow and a fire weather watch for Wednesday. So the basic gist to take home from this: strong gusting winds, very little moisture in the air, and a high fire danger rating, meaning that you and I need to use caution with anything that can spark a fire, because obviously under these conditions, they'd be pretty tough to fight. I mean, the wind is coming in from all over the compass, variable winds, and gusting up to 45 miles per hour. Not the conditions firefighters certainly want to have to fight a fire under. Those southwesterly winds close to 30 miles per hour again on Wednesday. So we know that this front moving in is going to continue to bring us these gusting winds. What we'd really like to see is some rain, right? At first glance, you're thinking a cold front. Hey, that's going to bring us some rain. And we're seeing a little bit just to the north here, but it's going to stay north. Perhaps northern Arizona picking up a few showers. We'll likely see more of that virga than anything else here across the southern part of the state as it swings through late Tuesday into Wednesday. But we are going to feel at least some cooler air to go with it. And that's certainly going to help somewhat. The hotter the air, the faster it dries out the fuel for the fire. So cooler temperatures can help, but of course we'd really like to see some rain, and that does not look as though it's going to come to fruition. Again, those seasons will feel like they're switching almost overnight. Wednesday will be down to 74 for a high in Tucson, 79 Thursday. Friday's kind of our transition day in the 80s, and then right back to the mid-90s on Saturday, and we'll be toying with 100 by Sunday. There's an off chance we will even have the century mark by Sunday. Our high today, though, of 86 in Tucson, also felt in Phoenix as well as Safford. That 86 is actually spot on with where we should be. It is our 30-year average. We did start the day a little warmer than normal with 61. We're normally starting off at 56 degrees. So again, tomorrow still in the low 80s, cooler, certainly from what we felt today, but mostly cloudy skies still stay with us. Believe it or not, those clouds will actually help to suppress the wind a little bit by preventing rapid mixing in the different layers of the atmosphere. I'd hate to see how windy it would be if we didn't have that cloud cover, because we're still expecting gusts close to 45 miles per hour. Our highs across Cochise County staying in the 70s to almost 80 here, anywhere from 72 in Bisbee to 80 degrees in the Douglas area. We're looking at 77 Sierra Vista, 71 in Oracle, a lot closer to 80 degrees here for Green Valley as well as Marana. Marana, you'll top out at 81 for your Tuesday. Ajo 77, 78 though in the Sells area. Again, closer to Tucson, close to 80. In Tucson, Sahuarita, Corona de Tucson, Vail, and the Benson area. So our 7-day forecast showing this wind will be with us here for at least the next 48 hours. And then it takes a little bit of a break as that cooler air settles in, and then we ramp right back to the mid-90s on Saturday, close to 100 again by Sunday. Pat, Stella.
Aaron, thank you.
Jason Barr joins us, a homestand like no other for the Diamondbacks.
The first of 6 games. It has to do with the 2 teams who they play. We'll explain why these next games at Chase Field are so historic. Plus, Craig Carter pleads guilty to more charges. The latest on the former Arizona assistant track coach. Stay with us here on KGUN 9.
Now, KGUN 9 on your side sports with sports director Jason Barr.
An historic homestand. For the first time in Diamondbacks history, they'll play host to the reigning league champions in back-to-back series. They'll face the World Series champion Astros, but first the Dodgers. Diamondbacks pitcher Robbie Ray placed on the DL with an oblique injury. Top of the 2nd inning, no score until A.J. Pollock changes that with this. A solo shot, his first of 3 home runs on the night. 3 home runs. It was 4-0 in the 4th. Zach Greinke at bat. The shot to right. Former Saguaro High School star Alex Verdugo gets turned around. It bounces over the wall for a ground rule double. Not a moment to remember for Verdugo. Unfortunately, there might be another Diamondback injury as David Peralta was hit in the hand here. D-backs win at 8-5. Dodgers shortstop Corey Seager needs Tommy John surgery. To college, U of A baseball wins at Utah Valley 7-6. The Wildcats come from behind with a 5-run 8th inning. Matt Frazier hit his first collegiate home run. They don't call it the Elite 8 in hockey, but that's how many teams are left in the AHL playoffs. Tucson hosts Texas in Game 1 of the Pacific Division Finals on Wednesday. The Roadrunners were practicing this morning at the TCC. Head coach Mike Van Ryn's team didn't allow a goal in their first 2 home playoff games. Up next is Texas, a team that won the 2014 Calder Cup. And a few players on that team are still on the Stars roster.
I think it's going to be an exciting series. I think both teams are fast-paced, like to play with the puck, and have some pretty dynamic players up front. So the 4 games in the regular season don't really mean much now. It's all about Wednesday night and what's going to happen there.
The Roadrunners did win 3 of 4 from Texas during the regular season. The upcoming series is a best-of-7 format. Former Arizona assistant track and field coach Craig Carter has pleaded guilty to felony counts of stalking and violating a restraining order. This is in addition to his conviction last month of aggravated assault. Carter didn't testify during his trial, but he did admit to authorities that he choked and threatened his victim, a U of A student athlete, with a box cutter. Carter won't serve extra time for these felonies, but he faces up to 23 years in prison, and that's going to be on his May 14th sentencing. We're back after this on KGUN 9 at 10 o'clock. Stay with us.
Go ahead, Pat.
I guess the taste of Tucson heading to Chicago this coming weekend.
Did you get too comfortable thinking about this next story?
I was leaning back thinking about a Sonoran dog. What about you?
Of course, yes. Why people in the Windy City are getting to experience a little of our city. You're watching KGUN 9 on your side. Hot Dogs is about to get a little taste of Tucson. El Güero Canelo is opening up a pop-up hot dog stand in Chicago for 2 days the coming week.
This comes ahead of the James Beard Awards. El Güero Canelo's Sonoran are being honored by the foundation as an American classic. Visit Tucson will be at the French Market May 5th and 7th, handing out free hot dogs to hungry Chicagoans. To hear from the owner of El Güero Canelo on the winning the James Beard Award, head over to KGUN9.com.
Aaron, you're from Chicago. What do you think they'll think about the hot dogs?
Well, I certainly hope they keep an open mind. Whatever you do, don't put ketchup on the Chicago ones or theirs.
Mustard only, yeah. That's exactly right. You saw there tomorrow, big day for Red for Ed movement. As of tomorrow, school closures could start really affecting the length of the school year and may mess up graduation arrangements.
This is what a lot of parents are talking about. Students also tomorrow, the governor will introduce his budget. He says he has the votes to get it passed with more funding for education, including a 20% raise by 2020 and $100 million in funding for support staff and improvements. And that does it for us. We hope you join us tomorrow. Good Morning Tucson begins at 4:30 a.m.
Thanks so much for joining us. Have a good night.